Give me that mic, fool, let me get a few things off the chest. I remember them student days put me to the test. Yes, actually, you could say that.
Yo, this is the PT Portal Podcast. This is the podcast by PTs for PTs. We're bringing you relevant information about the fitness industry. We're hoping to bring you tangible information or tangible things that you can actually use in your fitness career or your job as a PT. I am Marcus. This is D Ruckus, aka Derek.
Yes, sir.
Aka Dizza D.
AKA D's nuts in your mouth.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. So sick of it.
Funny. Leave me alone.
Do you want to do another intro?
Nah. We'll use one of those. So last time we were here, we talked about value. So trying to find our value just to set ourselves up to have the most successful business. What some of the points that we kind of came away with after last week's potty?
We talked a lot about service versus value. Service are things that you should be offering or that is offered across the board throughout all PTs. And we talked about those things. Services and the difference between service and value. Value being rather than what you're offering, but how you offer it and the way that you offer it. For example, everyone offers a program. To make sure that you show someone your value, it needs to be personalized to that person. It should circumvent their limitations. It should be presented in a personable way, and you should be getting them to their goals. Go and check out the module. We'll link it here. I don't actually know if that's how it works.
It's worth a try. Hopefully someone can sort that out for us. Today, we are going to talk about finding the right fit. So it works quite well directly after finding your value. We want to make sure that we're getting ourselves in the best situation possible. I think a common thing when we talk about this is that when you finish your study, you're like, yeah, I'm trying to get in the industry as soon as possible, right? I'm getting, I've got a job interview here and a job interview here, and I know that this gym needs trainers and so on and so forth. And taking that first step to get in the industry, yes, is the first step of starting your journey. But something that is commonly overseen is actually knowing what you should be looking for and the environment that you want to start your business in. We'll carry on a little bit more about it, but I feel like it's something that's overlooked. So we're just going to have a little talk about it today.
Yeah, 100%. I said I was going to stop saying that last podcast, but there we go. What are we, 2 minutes in? I already said it. On. What a loser.
It won't be the last one.
It won't be the last. Because if it's 100%, it's 100%. So get over it, whatever. Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of cultural differences in between kind of whichever gym you go to. Both of us work at a Flex Fitness at the moment. Whatever gym that you are going into though, in terms of finding the environment for you that works for you, go in prepped for these interviews. Don't go in thinking I'm just lucky to be here having this interview with someone. Like, you're not lucky to be here. They're lucky to have you. And if you have already learned your value leading into the interview or what you can actually offer the gym, you're going to go in with more leverage, first of all. So if I go in and I already know my value, if I go in and there's already some red flags about whatever kind of the interviewer has said or the gym manager has said, and I don't know what questions to ask or how to figure those things out, then I'm already kind of behind the eight ball a little bit on those. So if I've learned my value and now I'm going into these interviews, I'm going to have these like relevant things to actually bring up in the interview as I'm going through it. So learning what questions to bring up, what a normal contract looks like, random things that are in there. Because at the end of the day, we are going to be contractors. Ideally, you are going in as a contractor. Yes. I know there is, or a lot of gyms offer the option to go in and work as an employee, doing things behind the desk, starting off part-time. And although like it does sound like a good idea,
we wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, we probably don't recommend it, eh?
No, probably not. Just because you are going to end up limiting your success and the amount of money you can make from giving your value to people, because the gym then ends up taking a bit of that value and money back out of your pocket, which is not fair because we've just built your value up. So we just don't, not necessarily the worst way to go about it, but we think it's probably not the best way to go about it either.
Yeah, it can sound like it's kind of like a cushion, like it's pretty scary jumping in thinking, shit, if I get this job, like I don't even know if I'm going to get paid because I've got to figure out how I'm going to build my client base, so it can be quite a nicely like soft cushion to kind of like propel you. But personally, from my experience, I haven't seen it go how they present it. If that makes sense. So the idea is usually that you go in, do some hours behind the desk, and then start off part-time, so you have like some regular weekly income, and then allow you to build up your client base from there. But when you get super comfortable and you're happy with the money that you're making that week, why would I figure out how to sell someone PT? You know, like why would I go through the pain of having to figure out how to write 10 different programs for 10 different clients? You know, like it's just quite a limiting cushion,
It's going to hold you back eventually, and that's the thing that why we potentially don't recommend it, because it'll be the thing that may get you started and boost you up, but then eventually when you come down the track, it'll be the one thing that holds you back, and potentially might be even the reason that you don't last in the industry long term. So wrapping that up, just want to make sure that we're getting ourselves into the best environment, and we have questions or things to ask for, and we're negotiating through what the owners of the gym are potentially offering as perks, but may not necessarily be perks. Yeah. So with that, we're going to go into a few questions that we think potentially should be thought about. If we can think about these things before we go into the interview, it's going to make us better prepared. It's going to make us seem more valuable as well, because we're going to ask questions that, gym owners should be prepared to answer. And that's going to help us find the right fit. And having the right fit is the ideal best situation. For myself, I was lucky to fall into an ideal situation, but I know a lot of great PTs that didn't fall into an ideal situation, rushed into the industry, and potentially aren't doing it anymore. So we'll just go through that now.
Your start was at Snap Fitness?
Yeah. And to be honest, I just walked in the door, got a membership, was like, yo, you got any jobs going? Like legit, no, like 100%.
And what they say?
And they were like, yeah, we do actually. Just want to give you a CV in tomorrow and we'll get you in for an interview. It worked out, but it was not prepared. Like it was completely in the opposite direction of what we're doing right now.
So when you went in and had your interview, did you feel like you were prepared for that interview?
No, not at all. I was, like I said, I was just lucky. I was lucky the situation I got myself into. There were great opportunities. I had great owners. I had great management staff. Everything was just like all the stars aligned. It was just genuinely lucky. The next time I went into an interview, when I came to Flex, I was very well prepared, and there were things that I wanted on the table.
Wow, you already had how many years? Like,
I would have been 6.5.
Yeah, so if you didn't have any value by then.
Yeah, so I was very well prepared for the second time I changed gyms.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And the reason we're bringing this up is because I noticed that the second time around, how much more important it was for me to have these things lined up, to make sure this environment was going to fit me, to also show the owner of the gym, our now owner of the gym, how much he's getting from me because of me coming and asking these questions.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess it's like you obviously fell into that job, got the job at Snap or whatever, and you would have had to figure those things out over those 6 years, eh? So you're a lot more prepared going into the second interview.
Yes.
You don't have to like spill any of the tea, like any of the real details, but can you remember any of those questions that you went in with? Like, did you have anything changed in your contract? Like, what were the concerns that you had going in?
So obviously breaking down the contract for one was a lot easier the second time, because you can you have a comparison now. Whereas you go into your first interview, you're like, oh yeah, it's just a contract. This is fine. You know what I mean? You don't overthink it too much and you just go, whatever they offer me is what I'm getting. When I went into the second interview, I went in and there were a couple of things that I noticed that were a little bit different. But one of the main reasons I left Snap is because they weren't willing to come to a conclusion with me in terms of my rent payments during the period of the time that I was playing basketball professionally.
I don't ask about that.
Yeah,
Who asked about it?
I mean, you didn't have to make it such a big deal. You have to make it such a big deal, but yeah, okay, sweet, appreciate it. But that's what I went in with, like knowing that was what I needed was like it was so much easier for me to be like, cool, this is what I need, and he was like, all right, we can make that work.
Yeah, sweet. So like, the ownership had obviously changed at Snap. It wasn't the same owners. Multiple times. Yeah. So, like, you go into an interview, right? If I'm not that well prepared, one of my questions, straight off the bat, just to do with that, is like, who's the owner? Is the owner operated?
Yep.
And how long have they been the owner?
Yep.
If you're lucky enough to sit down like with the owner, which isn't always a thing, eh?
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's a manager, or you may even go through a process of 2 interviews where you meet the manager, and if the manager really likes you, they'll recommend the owner should meet them first as well. Yeah. And then you'll get into a situation.
Yeah. Because that is obviously going to have a massive difference. Like I think we touched on it last podcast about the difference between owner-operated gyms and kind of corporate-owned gyms. So you're going to be able to get a lot more done, and it's going to be a lot more kinder or friendlier to your business to be able to talk directly to the owner of the gym, because you can voice your concerns and there's no delay. It's like the day of, if I say, hey, I would like some more consultations, or what can we do about getting some more leads? There's going to be some direct kind of feedback straight away. Yep. Whereas if that's a commercial gym, you're probably not going to get a lot of movement on that for, a week or so.
Or you're sending 3 emails to get the same response.
Yeah. So like you went through it. The owner you first started off was good, eh? You enjoyed.
Yeah, real good, man. Yeah. Like,
and then it changed hands.
Went to another.
Did you have to re-sign a contract? Or was it the same contract?
Yeah, the contracts were pretty much the exact same, but we did have to re-sign. But we were then now owner-operated again. But instead of there being a party of 3 and 1 or 2 of them quite hands-on, which was the original owners, it was a party of 4. And there was a lot of a lot of miscommunication is probably the best way to put it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a lot of things that were getting done, but then other people didn't know were getting done. Oh, no. It just got real confusing. Stayed with
How long did you stick that out for?
Oh, I'm trying to remember now. Original owners probably would have been till like maybe like 2017.
Oh, shit.
18.
So you stuck that out quite a while.
That's the first owners, the really first.
Yeah, but they left that 2017.
Yeah.
In 2017.
And then the next owners, who were the 4, that was probably like a year to a year and a half, maybe. Yeah. Maybe a little bit longer. I can't fully remember.
Not too bad though. Like,
it was all right. Like, yeah, it was all right. That was, to be fair, that was when the gym itself was like low-key trending downwards. They just put up Briscoe's right in front of the gym.
What year was that?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. Maybe like 2018, 2019, maybe. And then
I've got a theory on that, but
yeah. And then we got sold again and bought by another private owner who was an owner operator. And that was all good again. But that was when I had to come to the table with some offers and kind of like see what they were going to be willing to give on their end. And it's not much movement, not much traction. I get the reasoning, like it's a new business that they were obviously trying to build back up again, and they couldn't obviously take the risk, which is perfectly fine. That's all good. No bad feelings or anything, but it didn't work for me at the time. So I knew my value and I knew I'd be more valuable somewhere else. So I decided to pack up and leave. Yeah.
Like one big reason, like we're obviously we talk a lot about from the PT's perspective about knowing your value and stuff, and what, and always like asking what the gym can do for you and the things that they have for you. But as PTs, like probably the main thing that we offer, like these gym owners, is client retention.
Yes, 100%.
That is like directly putting money in their pocket for a long period of time.
Yeah.
For me, the shortest period of time that you can sign up to PT with me is I think in my contract it's 6 weeks.
Yep.
So if someone literally signs my contract, and we sign up for 6 weeks of training, that is 6 weeks of a membership.
Yep.
Yeah. If that person has literally signed up to come and see me as a PT, then I hope that it goes longer than 9 times out of 10 people stay on for longer than 6 weeks.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Unless like you're just doing a trash job. But the biggest thing, like I said, is probably just like we can offer retention to these gyms.
Yeah.
And like point in case is when you left your gym, the clients came with you, right?
Yes.
So when you left the gym, it wasn't just your rent that gym started missing. It was all of those memberships that eventually left too, right?
So that was obviously something that I came into the second interview having in my back pocket. Was that I was like, I can almost guarantee you right now you're getting 30 members tomorrow if I start tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone do the maths on that. How much money is it?
I don't know, $20 a week times 30.
No, I'm not doing the maths.
Yeah.
Shut up.
But you know what I mean though.
Beep this out.
You know what I mean though. So that was not only was my value, one of my values being that I was very experienced. I'd been in the industry close to 7 years at this point. But the other thing was I can bring you direct cash flow.
Yeah.
Not only just from me, but from people that I know will join me.
Yeah.
Based on them pretty much having the conversation that I told them that I was potentially going to leave, and them being like, oh, I need to go where you're going then.
Yeah.
And me being like, well, that's your decision to make. Because I'm not at fault on any contract that I'm on by telling them where I'm going. I'm allowed to tell them where I'm going, and it's their decision to make at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the other tricky thing. Like, I don't know, it always says that in the contract, like you can't work in whatever radius or whatever, or you can't tell them, but it's like, you don't own that person.
No, exactly. Well, it's like
they have a membership at your gym, bro.
It's my direct job to be like, cool, I'm done here.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Do you want a new trainer? Do you want me to set you up someone and you're keen to go on your own? Then I get their response, and their response is, oh, where are you going? And I tell them where I'm going because they've asked me a question. I'm allowed to answer their question. And then they go, oh, I want to go come with you. And I'm all right, yeah.
It can get quite tricky, because some people, I've never owned a gym. I've never owned a gym.
Don't hold us against them.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like to have members, blah, blah, blah. But like, you don't own the members, Like, all that you can really do is like give them the best experience possible and make them not want to leave, I guess. Yeah. Again, I've never owned a gym, so.
But yeah, so that was one thing that I obviously added to my value going into this conversation, getting into Flex with Marcus. But
did I give you that job?
No. It's who you know, brother. It's who you know. Not what you know. It's who you know. So yeah, but obviously we're talking about this in like circumstances of you're just starting off, or maybe you're not doing very well already, so you don't have a big client base to follow you. So we want to make sure that you're prepared. Your values that we talked about last time, you've like ticked them all off the list, and you're like going in there feeling confident about what you have. May not be members or for them potential members to bring on board, but then that leads you into feeling more prepared, and being more prepared because you know your values is always going to make you more liked by the potential employee or contractor that you are working for. So great question, I think, is asking the owner or asking the manager about the owner, how long they've been there, what's the background of the gym, is it like owner operated, is it corporate? I think those are great questions to ask because this will give you a better understanding of how hard it's going to be for you to get things changed if you need help, or how easy it could potentially be. Yeah. And in those early stages, easy is better.
You don't have the ability to foresee the owners changing and stuff like that.
No.
But if you come across if you start off with good owners, you know how that gym is supposed to be run, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Now, if you get into a gym, if you're going through this interview and you go, hey, how long was the owner? Is this owner operated? Is it a franchise? You should probably know that. Have a fair idea of what's going on there before you go into the interview. Your job is to go in there with some value to leverage. So going in there with like a little bit of value. It was a little bit different for you to going into Flex because you brought a lot of value as a PT starting off with. You don't have that like money to offer them straight away.
Yeah.
But going in there, probably one of the like first questions, or they might even bring it up too, is just what's the process of like launching? You know, I know at Flex we did 1 month free, 1 month half price, and then you start your rent payments on the 3rd month.
Yep.
And I know when I first started that, you get put at like the front of the priority list for the consultations. So that first free month is in there for you to set up like a strong business, and then all the consultations, 90% of the consultations get chucked at you. So that's probably one thing to ask when you're in that interview. What's the launch kind of process like? How does the rent payments work? And the biggest thing is, how many leads can you guarantee me? Or ballpark figure, how many leads am I going to get a week?
Yep.
Booked in as a consultation.
Yep.
Because if I have a fair idea of that, I'll have a fair idea of how long it's going to take me to get busy.
Yeah.
It might be, this gym might tick off like all the really good things, like really good environment, real good culture. You get along with the manager. The other PTs are real happy there, but their lead flow might not be that great. So you could get in and they could say, shit, we could probably offer you 3 to 5 consultations a week. We'll do our best or whatever. Now you may have ticked off all these things already, but this like big circle around you starting a business and not having enough leads coming in, that's probably the deciding factor, eh? Like, Are you wanting to just write it out and just hopefully get there, do a bunch of floor walking, which I'm never a big fan of, but
we've all been there though.
Yeah, so that's my interview was a long time ago now. I don't really know if I probably asked that because I was still fresh too, but big question, what are the guaranteed leads, or like ballpark figure?
Just like asking about foot traffic, eh? Like, what, like even, I feel like if they can't give you a black and white answer, you could be like, cool, how many signups did you have last month? Great question, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Because then at least if you're saying that they're telling you they got 15 signups last month, then you should get 15 leads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If they can't guarantee you a number, if they can't figure it out, then you should be like, okay, sweet. So let's say we'll start with 15. And they might tell you like, oh, no, but February or March is our better month. So we might get more than that. And you'll be like, bet, okay, let's do this. I'm in. But yeah, you got to ask those questions because, again, we don't want to jump to the first opportunity and then set ourselves up to fail because it's too competitive. It's way too hard. And we want to try and help you navigate this process so that you get the smoothest start possible.
Yeah. Then again, like it is a job interview. There is kind of like some verbal kind of sparring, like going back and forth, like, because they might tell you we have 15 leads to give you straight off the bat. You might get in there, it might be 6.
Yeah.
And there might be excuse after excuse on like why the leads aren't coming in.
Yeah. But
they could be just desperate to have rent from you. Like they could just be desperate. That's if they're not a busy gym. There's a spar and you should be able to like go back and forth with the gym owner. Obviously you don't want to be a dick because you want to get the job if it's the right fit. But there is a little bit of back and forth and you need to be able to, it's up to you to kind of decide. You should get a fair idea after the interview whether you like can feel that person out and like trust them. The other thing you can do if you don't is literally just message one of the PTs that work there already. You are a contractor at the end of the day. All these PTs are contractors. They don't actually work for that person. So if the relationship between the owner or the manager and the PTs isn't that great, that PT is going to be more forthcoming with information to let you know just of like the niggly things. If the relationship's great, then they can give you like a real honest. If their PT comes to you and say, nah, it's annoying, they do this, this, and this, or if they come to you and they say, nah, it's actually like real good, like they've done this, this, and this for me, then that whole interview you can probably take that information.
Take it on board and help it like finalize your decision potentially. Whether or not that's the right fit for you. I think a good thing as well, like leading off the leads is like, okay, so what kind of environment am I getting myself into? So like, how many PTs are already there and how long have they been there for? Because obviously there's a big thing in the industry with like turnover of PTs. So we say that there's this gym that you're like looking at working at and you're having a talk with conversation with the manager and the owner, for example, and it's going really well. And you're like, yeah, this sounds amazing. Like perfect. You ask them how many leads you can get. They're like, yeah, we can get you like 15 to 20 in the first month. And you're like, that's pretty good. I can work with that. And then you go, okay, but how many trainers do you have? And they're like, oh, we've got 2. And you go, okay, how long have they been there for? And they go, 6 months. Do we think that's a red flag? Or do we think we can work with it? See what I mean?
Yes.
Tough one, eh?
Tough.
So I feel like it's one of those things, maybe this will help you dive into deeper questions like, oh, why do you only have 2? How many, like, you can ask a few more questions. How are they going if they've only been here for 6 months? Because you have to think too, you're signing up to work at this gym. There's 2 other PTs that have only been there for, let's say, 6 months or less. You guys are all still trying to get started. That puts a lot of pressure on you, a lot more added pressure on you to get going when you've got 2 other people that once that free month of leads have come in where you're getting every single one, you're back to grinding because they're grinding too. And then the next person's grinding. So it's things to take into consideration. Maybe the situation is different and you've got a new PT on board. You're a new PT trying to get on board and they've got 2 PTs, but they've been there 3 or 4 years. That to me would look a little bit more appealing looking for a job because they're probably quite well established. So the leads that they need are probably not going to be as high. And the fact that they have stayed for a longer period of time means that they must have a somewhat good relationship with the managers and the owners, and the gym demographic that's going around must be relatively good for building a successful business.
Yeah, the environment, especially if like, it's tricky with PTs because again, you feel like you all work together. Yeah. Like as employees that you kind of get, there's like that camaraderie sometimes, most of the time. I think we're pretty good at Flex.
Yeah.
Kind of do our, like, we all have our own businesses to run, but you're rubbing shoulders all the time, so it's good to have a good rapport, but there's nothing worse than having 3 like hungry PTs, like that's just like probably not going to go down too well.
Yeah.
You're all grinding. It's like, it can be kind of dog eat dog mentality. I don't know. There's been points at Flex where like we all haven't been as busy as we'd like, but we're all pretty established PTs, like me, you, and Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew's like 11 or 12. I'll be like 10.
How old's Andrew?
Damn, 45 at least. No, I don't know. But he would have been, because he was at Snap maybe like a year or maybe not even that, like 6 months before me. And we started.
Oh, wait, so you only started 6 months after him?
Yeah, wasn't long.
Oh, how long have you been PTing?
10 years. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Long time, man.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, he should know a thing or two.
Hopefully.
Yeah, like I think the there's been times that we haven't been as busy as like we needed to, just for whatever reason. Maybe the gym just hasn't like had a good month, or just like it could be so random. Like was there one point where like we all had like clients in Europe or something?
Yeah, which massive drop off.
Yeah, like it was just random. They were all on holiday in Europe or something like that.
Yeah, it was real random.
Anyway, like that, because we were established enough to like have a decent client base, it wasn't too, like it didn't get too bad at all. Like it wasn't driving a wedge between like any of us, but it's definitely a different experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a
hard.
Different workday experience.
Yeah, it's hard because but I guess like asking about the trainers, this is where this could be really important in an interview, because like asking about the trainers, asking the length of time that they've been there, like understanding this information and the situation you're getting yourself into. Like if they're people that are like grinding in their early stages and they're like low-key annoyed already that they're hiring someone else and you're coming in, you're probably not going to have a great relationship with your other trainers. And that's not any one person's fault. It's just because of how hard it is, right? But because when we all started, we were all very well established. I brought clients along, you were on your way. Andrew came in with his clients from Snap as well. We were all pretty set. Now when things get a little bit like, for all of us at the same time, we don't really like bite at each other. It's just like, oh, bet. No, I get it. Like we relate more because we built that. We were already like had a good relationship before it got dirty. But if you're starting your PT relationship
Going
with other people, that, then I can.
If there was a PT like entered into that,
I can guarantee that your relationship with them and your work environment is probably not going to be great. And we're talking about the perfect fit,
it's
right?
It's like what's that? Is it the Snickers ad where it's like you're not the same when you're hungry?
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's like the same shit.
Legit though, legit. So that's why I think asking about trainers, the length of time that the trainers have been there, all these little things, they may not have a direct impact on you initially starting off, but could potentially have a direct impact in your workplace long term.
Yeah, 100%. There we go. I think that's number 2. But when you're going in and you're going into that like sort of like place or that like workday environment, people aren't going to be too friendly, because if you're looking for me to give you advice on how this works, I'm busy trying to figure that out too. At this point. So, but if you go in, I've only had good experiences with the PTs that I've worked with. Oh.
Tell the story.
No. Say names. Well, anyway, there's this dude.
This one time
this bruh. So figuring out your environment, like go in there. Don't just ask like, what's the environment, right? Think about how long have the PTs been there? How busy are these PTs? What does the gym manager consider a busy PT? Do they consider like 10 hours being busy? They consider like 40 hours being busy, or 40 sessions, sorry. Those are like, you're going to get way more information out of that stuff there, because you should have probably already done the maths going into your interview on how many sessions that you actually need to, one, like pay your rent, and like what you're going to charge and things like that, and what your value is worth. So you should have already done the maths on how many sessions that you need to have, like absolutely need to have, sessions you'll be comfortable with. And then sessions like you're going to be real busy with. And you should have already come to terms with like what those look like straight off the bat.
And like, to be fair, I feel like talking about finding those numbers and how many sessions those are, that can be like a work in progress, but having a baseline before going in, 100%, because it can definitely be a work in progress.
How much money do I need to pay my rent after tax?
Another question rolling in after the trainers thing is, all right, so we talked about trainers, how long they've been there. Let's talk about members. How many members does this gym have? Right? A basic rule of thumb that I'd probably give any new PT is there should be a PT to every 200 members. So if you go into a gym and that gym has 600 members, but they have 6 PTs, you are going to find it bloody hard to start. That is guaranteed. No hands down.
So let's just like break down the maths a little bit more on that. So if there's 200 PT, 200 per PT, right? One, not all of those 200 people will have had a consultation with the PT yet. Some people will have said, nah, they don't need it. 200 of that 200, some will have had a consultation, but will have said no to personal training. So then there's already like, I don't know, it's probably down to 100 or so now. You know, because there's other PTs
maybe less.
Maybe less. And then you bring it down to like the consultations that you're going to get. They've got to go back. That if they're already current members, because you got to think when people are coming in for consultations, they're typically coming in straight off a sign up to that gym. They're not just running back consultations a year into their memberships. Not very often. It does happen. But they are new members to the gym, and then they're going straight into consultation. So of those current members, after we break all those numbers down, you're not left with a lot of like quality leads anyway.
Quality leads, and like even potentially people to floor walk to build as a lead, right? Yeah,
because let's crack up like when you've got to go, if you're about to floor walk and you've got to have a conversation with the gym manager, and you're going to be like, yo, see that chick on the lat pull down?
Has she had a consult?
Like snapping her shoulders up. Has she had a consult? Has she had a consult with any other PTs? Or is she like has she trained with one other PTs beforehand?
Yeah.
So then there's like, yes, you could go on floor walk, but you're also like kind of walking on a landmine a little bit, eh?
Yeah, because you're not trying to steal other PTs'
Yeah,
members.
you just don't want to step on your toes.
Yeah.
But if you have a conversation with that PT and they're like, yeah, go for it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's all good.
Yeah, exactly. Using this 200 to 1 thing is a great like benchmark, and like realistically is an ideal situation for you to be joining into. So like, let's say that let's go on the opposite hand. Let's say the gym has 1,000 members and they got 3 trainers. Now we're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So we've ticked all these other things off our box now, and we've asked these other questions, and everything seems to be lining up. And then they tell you that they can get you, I don't know, a huge amount of leads, and there's like 500-600 members in there that are potentially up for grabs.
Yeah.
You're pretty happy with that situation.
Yeah, that's a great situation to go into.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all considering like all the other points that we talked about leading into this. Hey, this is should be like a step-by-step
Yep.
kind of process, like ticking the box off as you go. What I think this probably comes down into like the environment or the culture, but one big thing that adds to that is like the price of the membership adds to the demographic of the gym.
Yep.
Probably. So
Yep.
we all know those CityFit at like $5 memberships.
Yep.
Like their business model is sell a lot of them and hope they don't turn up.
Yep.
Like good business model, but not a great like gym culture model way.
No, and like that's a billionaire's.
Fuck, can
That's
we
a
talk
billionaire.
about CityFit last?
I don't know.
Just
I don't
bleep it if we need to anyway.
Oh, we'll talk about.
We'll
that's
Google
right.
copyrights or whatever.
But like that's a billion. Oh god damn, my bad. That's a billionaire's business structure though, because it's like I got so much money, I can make them so cheap. I just want leads after leads after leads after leads. Do you know what I mean? So the quality of those leads for someone starting into a gym may not be as good.
Yeah, it's like great for the gym owner.
Yeah.
But not necessarily too good for a personal trainer who wants to get busy and make some money and change some lives.
Yeah, exactly. So
there you
go. Yeah, talking more about demographic, like we want to, in an ideal world, if we get multiple decisions and we're trying to set someone up, we want to find a middle ground, right? Affordable, but not the most expensive gym membership in New Zealand. Somewhere where you're seeing like students, a few uni students, but a lot of working class people in terms of the demographic of the gym. These are people that generally speaking have money, or the younger people have budgeted their life to be able to pay for this membership because it's important to them.
And if they don't have money, they've been in an environment that emphasizes like health and wellness, because people that have that do prioritize that stuff will find money to like fork out for those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, just know that when you go into we talked a little bit about the number of members that you have. City Fitness probably has thousands, I guess, probably based off those membership prices. But the lead quality might be quite low, because if someone's only willing to pay $5 for a membership, when you tell them that they have to pay $65 for half an hour of your time,
they're going to probably laugh at you.
Yeah, they're probably going to freak out a little bit.
Yep. So that's the thing. It's like, and like that may not necessarily be the worst situation to get into. It's not ideal, but if you've got limited options, I think the thing that will probably come down to is like your conversion rate of signing new clients up will probably just end up being a little bit lower, just because of the demographic that you're having to sign up.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in a later podcast about sales and stuff, but that's the win-loss, right? You might be like, hey, the only job I can get at the moment is City Fitness. Everything else lines up. I can't really wait sort of situation. Maybe that's you. Maybe we're not mentoring you. Maybe that's your situation that you're in. But you've just got to realize that maybe you're just not going to convert 85, 90%. Maybe you're going to convert at like 40.
Yeah. Or you can drop your prices.
Which I would never recommend to anyone. Normally the first thing we do is put them up. Exactly.
But again, it comes down to knowing your value. You got to know what that value is, know what that price is worth. Yeah, so a big impact is going to be like of the demographic or the people that are going there is like, one, what kind of gym or membership model that they have. I think we run like a pretty good one. I'd say it's probably like $20 something. Or
I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know. I think it's like $21.99 or something.
we're bang on Riccarton Road, by the opposite the Caltex, or on the corner beside the KFC. If you need some personal training.
If you know where the KFC is, then
if you know where the KFC is,
and you don't know where the gym is, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's going to be a massive part of like what kind of demographic is going to be in there. The other why I mentioned where we're situated is where the gym is going to be another part of like the demographic.
Foot traffic
that comes in, the foot traffic. We get a bunch of like drunk people come up off the street, or we used to.
It was mean.
It's actually kind of crack up, but
nah, it is funny. Some
were
guys
you there when the dude got naked?
Nah, but I was there when the guy stood outside the front door and started like bicep curling his bike.
Yeah. That was
that was like a week ago.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Are you all good, my boy?"
I don't know what it is about Riccarton Road. I'm from Dunedin, so I don't know.
You used to drunk people everywhere,
huh?
You used to drunk people everywhere.
Yeah, but not like that. Not like that.
But it's gonna matter in terms of what kind of people are coming. Like because a lot of the workspaces around the area will probably sign up to that gym because it's close and convenient. So you look at the like different businesses around, and then that can potentially give you a better understanding of the demographic before even getting into the gym as well. If
you go in and you're like, "Okay, cool. What are your membership prices?" If they say $5, you can go, "Oh shit." If that person has signed up for a cheap membership, they're probably not going to want to fork out for like PT, but you can figure that out. If you go in, you're like, they say our memberships go from $18 to $26. It's probably a good range. They're going to get some good quality like members because they are paying enough to actually like care about their like health and fitness. They haven't just signed up just knowing that it's $5 and they can afford to lose that or whatever. They've signed up thinking, if I see this $25 go out every week, I'm going to make damn sure that I'm going to be there at least once a week or whatever time they've made up in their minds. If you sign up to one of these other like group fit gyms, which is expensive.
Yeah, something like $60.
Yeah,
maybe.
60.
I mean, unlimited classes, don't have to think about it. Like I get it, but yeah, like, I mean, yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I pay a membership at a CrossFit gym. I pay, I guess, like $60 a week or something like that. Yeah. But that's because I know the value that gym gives me. It's more so of like a professional or personal development thing that I see going there. So, but I'm probably not going to get PT there.
No, because it's a bit more expensive now.
Yeah. There's a few people in that gym that definitely do PT. I don't know how regular that is or how regular their sessions are, but I think a nice in between is probably something like a $20 so because they're probably going to be able to have money to fork out for PT as well. Yeah.
We'll talk about how to sell yourself and your value and your product in a later podcast, but just like getting an understanding is just a good place to start, just so you know you are trying to set yourself up with the best opportunity. So that kind of is like probably like our top 5 questions that we would probably recommend PTs to ask in terms of understanding the environment they're getting into and trying to find the best fit.
We'll expand on in the doc as well. Like these questions will be there, and there'll be some more detail in there, how to ask them, what process to go in, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Just before we finish, I just want to talk about any like, since we're going on like finding the right environment, when you signed up, was there anything in your contract that you wanted to change? Quickly, just before we finish.
Oh, yeah. Probably days off, weeks off, 3 weeks per year.
Yeah.
That was probably one. And when I came into my contract at Flex, I wanted to have a section about a part-time rent cost during a period of time. So that obviously when I was playing basketball, I wanted to be like part-time.
Did you play?
That's what I think of that. So there was like I wanted to get like a figure or a number so I could prepare myself for how much I was going to have to pay when that period of time came around. So that was something I added in and changed. But it was, normally it's what about you?
And did they like come to the party?
I mean, I brought, I don't know, so many people across.
Yeah,
like
you had leverage.
You can't really tell me no.
Yeah, you had leverage. Yeah,
you know,
for
I'm
sure.
giving you XYZ amount per year.
Yeah.
I'm only asking for 4 months where you help me out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I did have leverage. I had a lot of leverage. It's not every situation is going to be like this.
Nah, definitely not. There's
But
no way.
like you know what you're bringing. You understand. Not only am I super confident with my own value, so I knew what I was bringing in terms of a great trainer at the gym to help accompany another great trainer and make the environment better, but I had a following, an army behind me that was like, yo, we come to your gym if you sign this bro up.
Yeah, for sure. Do I have anything in my contract that I want to change? I think just the same.
Yeah.
I think the same. Just, what do we get, 2 weeks?
It was 2 and I asked for 4 and then he said 3.
Yeah.
And I went with it.
Yeah, that's all good. What we
Like 3 is all good. 4 was it was 4 at snap.
I was 4 at snap.
Yeah, that's why I asked for 4, because it was 4 at snap.
Yeah, I guess it's like, is it normally 4 weeks of holiday?
That's why I
at a
asked.
normal job?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I asked. It's like you see 2, but you used to get 4. You're kind of like, oh, so can I get 4?
Yeah, shit. Was there anything in my contract? I can remember going back and forth. I think one thing was like maybe uniform. I think I went back and forth on uniform. Like, because the way I saw it was...
You had to buy it with that startup cost?
Shit, I can't remember.
You know how there's that startup fee and it's supposed to cover your uniform in like the first few weeks of rent?
I can't remember. Yeah, it's going back. But with uniform, it was like, maybe it said something in there like you must wear, this is the dress code to work at Flex, and it must display like a Flex Fitness Riccarton like logo or whatever. But you don't actually work for Flex Fitness. You're contracted to Flex Fitness. So it's like, I could technically just wear my own brand the whole time I'm in there, but to like fall in line with the process. And like, I think it just looks tidier, just people knowing that, like, if you're working in this gym. I think I went back on uniform and was just like, you can supply me uniform if that's what you want, or something like that.
Yeah. Which, I mean, realistically, that's never normally a big one to get around, is it?
Nah. But yeah, wear uniform though. Not like this guy.
Fridays.
Casual Fridays.
Yeah, casual Fridays. Shh. This has been a good chat, but to conclude it up,
Wrap it up.
I just want to give you a thought to think about, so that this maybe makes a little bit more sense to you.
Tell them, D.
So it's a great example. Let's say you are in the hospitality industry and you want to start a cafe, right? And you're out looking for locations to start your cafe up in. Okay. So when you go into the situation, you don't not ask any questions when you go to different locations. So let's say there's a location down Riccarton Road and you don't walk in there, look around and go, I love it, and leave. Would you expect your cafe to be successful if you did that?
But if I was just like slanging like the best coffee.
Yeah, but like how, like that's the same though. I'll ask you this question. It's the same. You could be the best PT in the world. You just walk into a gym and you know nothing about it. Let's say there's 50 members. You don't even know that. You walk in, you expect to be making $100,000.
You're saying, yeah, I get
See
what you're saying.
I
see what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that you should already know your value and what you're going to bring.
Yeah,
so why would I bring it to you? Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
You've already got that. You already know that your cafe is going to be successful, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know what the foot traffic's like, what the businesses around the area are like, how long the last lease went for, all these things, right? Similar questions that we just asked when we're talking about signing up to a gym. The demographic, all these things. Are these going to be people that want to go to a cafe? Maybe they're not even people that want to go to a cafe. Maybe they're just going to go to McDonald's, McCafe, and buy coffee and drive to work. Like, you know, like you could be setting yourself up to fail if you ask 0 questions.
Yeah.
So don't go into your business at a gym with the same mindset of not asking any questions. You've got to go in with the same mindset that you would if you were going to start a business franchise by yourself on the side of the road as you would going into any other gym. You need to go in prepared, ask questions. You know your value. You know that you're going to be good enough. But if you're not asking questions to make sure that you can utilize your value and line everything up so you can be successful, you're probably going to find it really, really hard or even maybe fail. So that's my biggest thing, is to think about it more like you're starting a franchise cafe rather than you starting or getting employed to work at a gym and think about the things you would want to know if you were starting a franchise cafe or versus a gym PT, so that you know that you can be successful because your value can be portrayed as best as possible.
Yeah, don't go in there like thinking, oh, I'm so lucky to have an interview like with the place, blah blah blah. I'm so thankful, and then get in there and like they've just destroyed, like you're super passionate about helping people, and then the experience you had, you never ever want to work in a gym again, eh?
Exactly.
So like these are the things that having a mentor is going to help. I don't want to make this a sales pitch, but having these things in place already is going to make sure that like it just doesn't ruin this career for you or this business that you want to start.
I guarantee you went into this industry because you heard that you can make a lot of money being a PT. I guarantee you that's why you decided to do it. You either were like into the gym and you knew you could make money from it.
You talking about me or
no? Just like in general, right? Yeah, but like in general, right? You're like, damn, I can make a buck here, and I love the gym. All good, mean. This is gonna be mean, and then you go in there underprepared. You know, don't know your value. You're not asking the right questions to get yourself set up to be successful. You're gonna be like, bruh, being a PT, shit, I hated that. That was dumb ass. I only did it for 6 months and I quit. Now I work at Fonterra.
Yeah.
Night shift.
Just like miserable as fuck.
And you could have had the flexibility of a very balanced life and really good income, but just don't be scared to ask the questions or ask for help.
Yeah, like this could, if this goes great, like it could be like a long lasting career, like if it goes great.
Yeah.
And like you said, like one of the biggest things is just it gives you so much freedom and flexibility to be a PT, a successful one. But it could potentially, like going in blind, not knowing your environment, could potentially ruin that relationship you have with this like passion that you have, right? Yeah. So don't let that happen. Fuck that.
No, it's us. Yeah, and I know people personally who have done it that I studied with, bro.
This gig is like fucking cool. Like what we do, like don't get it twisted. Sometimes it might seem a bit dry just with the shit that we talk about, but it's so important because at the end of the day, we get to like do the shit that we like love doing every single day. And if I want to go away for the weekend, I can say, yo, I'm not going to be here Monday. Can I push you to next Saturday? And most of your clients are going to move. Like this gig is sick.
Yeah. Like the thing that I think for me as well, like being in this industry for as long as I have been, the connections I've made with my clients, like it's crazy, bro. Like not only you're like trying to positively affect these people's lives, but you make great relationships with these people. Yeah. These are the people, like there's been times that I've been like, fuck, maybe I've been doing this a bit long, maybe I'm ready to get out. Yeah. And I'm like, I love these people.
What the fuck else am I going to do?
And these people like make my day. So I'm like, why would I change that?
Bro, when I first got up to Christchurch, went straight into my job, I knew like maybe 2 or 3 people up here. And the first people I started hanging out with was like literally my first sign-ups.
Yeah, I know.
Like, and they're still like, I was fucking best man at one of their weddings last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we were just randomly both from Otago, and I had nowhere to watch the footy. And I was just telling him about it one day. Been training him for like 3 weeks. He's like, bro, come around, watch the footy at mine. And
all good.
We both agreed that 2015 was probably like the best year of our life. So yeah, like going back to what you just said, like fuck, you make connections that like they end up being some of your best friends.
Yeah.
Or like the business knowledge or just like the things that they can like offer you in exchange.
Like we've talked about this, like some
service.
of the connections we've made that have helped us in so many aspects in our lives is mind blowing. I mean, like shout out to Nick right now.
Yeah.
Like this wouldn't even 100%. Be happening without Nick.
Yeah,
you know what
he's
I mean?
Definitely
like,
the boy and his girlfriend.
Yeah, bro, this is crazy. Like, so, I mean, yeah, we get to give a positive impact into these people's lives and like potentially help them build the knowledge to have a great relationship with health and fitness in their bodies. But these people impact us and it's amazing.
Yeah. It's
amazing.
Like equally as rewarding. And like, if you wake up in the morning to a 3 a.m. alarm, and you know you're about to go to Fonterra, like that shit is miserable. You're killing me. But if you wake up at 3 a.m. and you're like, oh, I'm seeing Greg today.
All good.
That dude is crack up.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to talk to him about his weekend. Yeah,
he just had his stag do. I know he's going to have some yarns for me. Yeah. And I'm going to thrash him for going out and fucking going on a 3-day bender. So that's going to be a crack up too.
We're moving on. Funny thing you say this is though, So I talked about PTs being on the street and then quitting their job and going to Fonterra. I just remembered one
I
of my
fuck with Fonterra though.
No, yeah.
I
Good
fuck
you
with
said
Milk.
that because one of my good mates used to be a PT. One of the people I used to train all the time. He used to be a PT, quit his job and started working at Fonterra.
What's his name?
No
What's his
lie. No lie.
What's
I
his
just
name?
remembered.
What's his name?
Tumanai. Shout out, brother.
Shout out to Mana. What
But
time do you get up though?
nah, he's not doing it anymore.
Oh.
He's not doing it anymore. He went back to uni, studied physio, did a different route. Super smart fellow, but
Now
fuck.
he's at
It's just
Meadowfresh.
funny. It's just funny, bro. That we used Fonterra as an example. It's literally what he did.
Yeah, maybe it was just in the back of your head or whatever.
Yeah, I know. That's random. Anyway,
Pause.
my bad too. Yeah, that's us.
That's the PT Portal podcast. This is the podcast by PTs for PTs. If you love this shit or this is something that you get excited about, it gets you up in the morning, but you just struggle with putting everything into perspective and structuring everything in a manner, then we help figure that out. We did talk about it last time. We are taking on one more PT to mentor so far at this point in time, right?
Yeah,
You have space for one more?
I have one more.
Yeah, I have space for one more. So if you are looking for someone, if you gel with the things that we've been saying, and these are some of the things that you've actually thought about, like, damn, what's the environment like? How do I know about these things? Shit. How do I become more confident in knowing my value, blah, blah, blah. Then that is literally what we do. So
And this
slide in
is
the
just
DMs.
the tip of the iceberg. There's so
Don't
much more
ever
that we
say
dive
tip again
into.
in your life.
God damn. And I went like this too. That's crazy.
That's the tip?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Anyway, this is just the start, and there's so much more to dive into. So,
told them
it's been
that?
a long day.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Yeah, but there's so much more to go over. So, if you've enjoyed the first two episodes, if you're keen to sign up, like there's endless amount of information to come out.
Yeah, all the info is going to be all over the doc, so don't stress about trying to get info. There's going to be an Instagram, slide into that DM. Males and females, slide into the DM.
Can tell it's the end because we are
We
struggling.
are battling. To conclude this,
It's about 45 degrees in here.
we're your boys.
Yo, what are you wearing today though? Because those look like some beaters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've worn these to like a festival. I just came straight from the gym, so what are you running?
Turbo greens.
Turbo. Hey, shout out Turbo.
Turbo.
What socks you got on though?
Oh, just cop the freshest DS socks, eh? What about you?
Yeah, I'm running the same.
Damn, that's crazy. Where you get yours from?
This place on Instagram called the DS Don. Yeah, that's where I get a lot of my
shit.
shoes from.
Oh, actual.
Yeah.
They got fresh ones.
Yep.
Damn. I might have to check that out. Check out the DS Don on
DS
Instagram.
Don on Instagram.
Bet.
If you want
All right.
shoes, yeah.
We're out.
Yo,
See ya.
Put me to the test, yes, actually you could say that I put myself through it. How could I be helpful to mom if I ain't self through a tertiary?